Have you ever stopped and wondered how that giant complex thing we call the American financial engine actually works? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how money flows from the very top of the system right down into your wallet. Let's dive right in.
It's a huge question, right? And honestly, it can feel a little complicated, maybe even intimidating. But don't worry, our goal here is to give you a clear, simple map of how it all connects.
And that's our promise to you. We're going to tell a story, one that connects the massive global financial system to the everyday decisions you make with your own money.
So, where does it all begin? Let's start at the very top of the financial food chain, with the source of the money itself.
Okay, first up, the Federal Reserve, or as you've probably heard, the Fed. This is basically the central command for the entire economy. Its main job is a balancing act, keep prices stable while making sure as many people as possible have jobs. And to do that, it controls the nation's money supply and sets the cost of borrowing. Believe me, those decisions ripple through every single part of our financial lives.
Think of it like this. The Fed has a gas pedal and a brake for the economy. When it raises interest rates, it's tapping the brakes. Borrowing money gets more expensive, which slows down spending and helps fight inflation. But when it lowers rates, it's hitting the gas. Borrowing becomes cheap, encouraging businesses and people like us to invest and spend more, which, you guessed it, speeds the whole economy up.
And look, this isn't just an American thing. The Fed's influence is global. Its decisions can move markets all over the world. That's why, when the Fed speaks, everyone, from the biggest investors on Wall Street to small business owners, listens very, very closely.
Okay, so the Fed controls the money supply. But how does that money actually get out there into the real world and into our hands? Well, that brings us to the next critical piece of the puzzle, the banking system.
You know, the model here is actually beautiful in its simplicity, but it's incredibly powerful. It starts with you. You deposit your paycheck into your bank account. Now the bank doesn't just let that money sit in a vault. It lends a chunk of it out to someone else who needs a loan to buy a car or start a new business. And that loan? That's what fuels economic activity and keeps the whole engine humming along.
And these services are basically the arteries of the financial system. They're what pushes money to exactly where it needs to go. I mean, from the cup of coffee you bought this morning with a credit card to a huge loan that builds a new factory, banks are what make it all possible.
And get this, over 80% of major purchases in America, we're talking homes and cars, are financed through credit. Just let that sink in. This number reveals a fundamental truth about our system. The U.S. economy literally runs on our ability to borrow for the big things that define so much of American life.
So we've got the money source with the Fed and the distribution system with the banks. But where do people go to actually grow their money and build real long-term wealth? Well, that brings us to our next stop, the wealth engine. For millions and millions of Americans, the answer is the U.S. stock market. It's so much more than just numbers flashing on a screen. It's the primary way that people can take a calculated risk for the potential of a much greater reward, allowing them to build a real nest egg for the future.
And here are some of the titans you're probably investing in, maybe without even knowing it. If you have a retirement account like a 401k, chances are you own a tiny slice of these global powerhouses that drive so much of our modern economy.
So, what's the secret sauce? The secret is, there is no secret. It really comes down to discipline. The classic American strategy is to just buy consistently, hold on for the long haul, through all the market's ups and downs, and let the magic of compounding do the heavy lifting. That's when your earnings start making their own money, creating this incredible snowball effect over time.
All right, we've seen all the big pieces on the board. We've seen how the engine works. Now let's bring it all home and put together a practical playbook. How do you as an individual actually navigate this whole system to build your own financial success?
I want you to think of a solid financial foundation like a sturdy four-legged stool. Each leg is a pillar. You've got your income from a job or a business. You have your investments like stocks and funds. You've got tangible assets like real estate. And finally, you have credit, which, when used wisely, lets you borrow affordably. If you can build up all four, you are well on your way to creating lasting wealth.
But wait, we can't talk about any of this without touching on one more massive piece of the puzzle: taxes. Think of taxes as the fuel that funds the entire system, paying for the roads, the defense, and the social programs that keep the country up and running.
So where does all that money actually go? As you can see here, huge chunks of it go to fund crucial safety nets like healthcare and Social Security.
that's a major national priority. The rest is split up between national defense and all the basic costs of just running the government. Every tax dollar gets reinvested to keep this whole economic engine and our society running smoothly.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This financial system, it isn't random. It operates on a very clear set of rules and principles. Now that you understand the playbook, from the power of the Fed to the pillars of building wealth, the only question left is, are you using that knowledge to play the game?